Best Girl Wars have never been this fun, but the whole Yor Nightfall dynamic, Fiona, just so good. And the fact that our girl's best girl energy is so strong, it can not only mince up and dice up a tennis ball to the point that it looks like chopped onions. You literally broke Nightfall to the point of making her say, not only are you better than me, she then goes and trains in the mountains, and that after the credits moment of seeing her just aggressively swing as the bear and the bunnies are looking, saying, what the hell is this girl doing? That's what I love about this show, because as I keep saying, in any other show, Nightfall, Fiona, she'd be best girl. There's no competition. She's an amazing character, lovable personality, the whole ice meets fire dynamic is just so good. But Yor is the perfect woman. We got a brief taste at the very end because she was hoping, because she very much was thinking like, shit, Lloyd's gonna be taken from her because this girl just seems so perfect for him. And she was hoping for some sort of praise that would reassure her. And we see her pout at the end. So I think the last couple of episodes of this season are probably going to relate to her hoping and maybe being confident in her place in terms of where she is in this family. But I just love the fact that for both Nightfall and Yor, you have two women who are convinced the other one is getting in the way of their relationship potentially. And the fact that, a blind man at this point, other than Lloyd that is, because Lloyd's still believing it's all bullshit, the fact that it just went like this, it's so wholesomely chaotic, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I do have a full live reaction available on the Patreon if you're interested, of course, but for another tennis episode, this one surprised me. I mean, last week was a surprise in of itself, but to have like half of this episode finish up the main tennis mission, and then the fact that we got a brief taste at the end with even crazier animation, like there's a moment when they're playing against the two rich kids. They go into such an animation style that it honestly reminded me of Kill la Kill, just with the way they were bobbing and weaving. I mean, at one point, Lloyd's in this position that I'm just like, this flamboyant mofo, I love him. And to see how they continue to just make it just cheaper and scummier as the match went on, they had like 5 different things going on. You have a sniper with rubber bullets, so either A, you get shot or you shoot probably the ball away so it screws them over. You are lowering and raising the net just ever so slightly to screw with them, making it easier for one side, harder for the other. You have wind that gusts up underneath the actual net, so it makes it screwy. The floor messes up. It's just constantly new thing after new thing. And the fact that they could, because they were at the end of last week's episode, they kind of cleared their head. They were kind of awake. They weren't groggy anymore from the poison gas that was messing with their vision and everything. So they obviously were able to deal with it, but I thought it was so clever, right? Because this is a really interesting way to get an item that they needed, which was this painting, as there was a hidden message, a coded message that is, and almost immediately after they win, someone else ends up claiming it, so they couldn't get it. But obviously we know our boy can change face, so they were able to switch it out for a fake one, right? But I love the fact that this entire silly ordeal, the fact that for 30 minutes of this tennis bullshit that we've been dealing with from last week to this week, I love the fact that it just ends with like this dude who was collecting pictures of actresses and the wife wasn't okay. It wasn't, this crazy thing that would make it so this war would escalate or de-escalate. It was all about a family dynamic. And I think for a show that at its core boils down to a family dynamic between Anya, Bond, Lloyd, Yor, just this family in general, I think it's the most perfect on the nose, like, we're so worried about this war, about what could escalate it, but at its core, everything boils down to family, and I kind of like what they're able to accomplish, while simultaneously just making me love the characters more and more. I mean, I really can't remember the last time I've seen a show where you've made me so confident in the main pairing, that being Lloyd and Yor, and you were able to introduce love interest rivals, which in the case of Fiona, aka Nightfall, and have me love the characters almost equal, but not feel like the main relationship is in turmoil or going to struggle, but more so just excited to see how a character that's trying to push herself into that relationship will in return make the fake couple that they both believe, at any possible moment they'll leave because it's fake, are growing closer and closer and closer. And to just have a character like Anya, who sometimes is front and center, has the most words spoken in any episode, but in an episode like this, it's just her faces. She'll think about what Becky's talking about she watched on TV when Usually it's her saying, I watch cartoons, but now she knows the appeal of the drama, right? I just love what they're able to do with this dynamic and how literally there isn't a bad character. Whether it's Uncle Frankie, whether it's, Daybreak and his bullshit that we saw, every character has a piece to play in this, and the way they can blend action with spy, political sabotage thriller with one of the best damn families, if not the best family I think I've experienced in anime. Like, that's what I love about this show. And the fact that we're 23 episodes total into the Spy Family run with a couple left to go, and the production has just remained so smooth. I mean, early into the first core, I remember there was some pushback saying, you know what, eventually this show's gonna go off the rails, because around that time, Cloverworks was still getting shit on because of certain anime they released, so people are like, even with what's on board, it's gonna be a mess of a production, it's not gonna look this good all the way to the home stretch. Well, pies on their face, because this show just is looking better the more we see. I think having it be split up into 2 separate cores was the right way to go about it, and the fact that we have Kill la Kill style animation for this wacky, insane tennis match, to then ending on something that felt like we were about to go Super Saiyan with that serve. I mean, I really was upset at first when Yor, did it and just nothing happened, because she was, getting Hulk ripped and then just completely missed, and then to see how it shatters and then how she has to restrain herself so she doesn't break the ball but still send it flying. This show is just an insane ride, and I've had such a blast not only watching it but also covering it. Spy Family has easily become one of my new personal favorites in this medium, and honestly I'd go as far as say one of my new personal favorites across all mediums. I just love the dynamic, I love the production, and I just especially love the voice actors and how on the nose they are. The fact that at the end of this match, the spoiled rich kid and the dad start crying and they're thanking as if they learned the value of the power of friendship in a weird way. It's just, I love what the show's able to do with its cast dynamic and how it perfectly hits every single week for me. While it's going to be a damn shame that in a couple episodes we're going to have to wait for probably a couple years for more Spy Family. Especially because the material's there from what I've been told. The issue is if you want to have a very polished series like we have had, they need a couple years in the oven to produce a couple more cores to this quality. Now, maybe they'll just do 1 core so they can get out within a year, year and a half. That's a possibility. But like I keep saying, I will wait as long as needed. I know we'll get more. It's only a matter of time. This is literally one of the most popular and profitable anime of this year. It is breaking television records and everything. But I will wait for quality. We don't need a rush job. We need something with care and passion like the 2 cores have been given. And I have full faith that this team is going to continue delivering every time we see this wonderful show on our screens. But of course, I'll pass the torch over to everyone. What did you think of episode 23 of Spy Family? Your favorite moment, honestly, for me, I think just that simple moment after the credits, seeing our girl swinging aggressively. That has to be mine, but of course, let me know yours down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Like I mentioned, there's a full live reaction available on the Patreon, and you can also get video shoutouts like if you were about to get here. So we got George, Kelly Martinez Reyes, and Alton Johnson. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.